Good evening, everybody. Happy New Comic Book Day. Happy Wednesday, and welcome in if you're watching this live, and thank you for watching this later if you're catching this on the replay. But tonight we have three guests with us, most of the creative team for Cover the Dead with Lime, coming out next week from Blood Moon Comics. We have writer Jonathan Chance, artist Hernán González, and colorist Damián Felitte. Welcome in, everybody.
Hello, Jeremy.
Hi, hello.
And so it's going to be a little bit of a extra special interview tonight. Hernán doesn't speak a lot of English, so Damian's going to do some translating. So those of you that speak Spanish, you get to hear both tonight. So I'm excited for that because I don't think I've gotten to do an interview like this before.
Right.
So for, I guess, Jonathan, I think you got to talk about this a little bit in the past when you were on before. So I'm going to start out with Damian and Hernán, but just to help people get familiar with you guys, what got you into comics and reading them, and then what got you into creating comics?
Who starts first?
Whichever one of you that wants to go first on that.
¿Quieres empezar, Ernie?
¿Con qué sería? ¿Con qué?
¿Qué es lo que te hizo empezar a leer cómics en principio, digamos? O qué es, bueno, como lo primero que recuerdes.
Lo primero que recuerdo era chico y mi abuela me compró un cómic que todavía lo tengo guardado, que es Slime, por Mike McMahon y Pat Mills.
The first comic he remembers. He's got the first comic that his granny gave him as a gift. Is Slain, but McMahon and Pat Mills. It's the first comic he remembers that.
And you still have it. That's awesome.
I love all British artists to 2000 AD.
2000 AD artists, he likes all of them. It was great for us here, Slain, Rock Trooper, and that kind of.
We had them in England. Slain was on, was it 2000 AD? 2000 AD, I think had Slain, if I remember right. We had them in England as well. So yeah, it was good, beautiful art. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely a collector of those comics, it seems. And so what got you interested in wanting to create comics? Or later on?
Si es también lo que te llevó a hacer los cómics. Yes.
Sí, cuando lo vi dije, yo quiero hacer lo que hace este señor.
He saw it and he thought, I want to do this.
Right. Awesome.
Sin saber bien cómo se hacía ni nada. Yo dije, yo quiero, y tenía 7 años. Era muy chico. Y dije, quiero hacer esto.
7 years old, and he doesn't have a clue, but it was like, I want to do this all my life.
That's awesome. Great. How about for you, Damian?
Well, for me, it was my father that read me comics, mostly Batman and Robin, the Big Sprang era. And then, well, I was like 3-4 years, and my father read me, and then I wanted to read myself, so I started reading because of comics. And then my father taught me how to draw faces like Dick Sprang and Sprangish kind of style, and it was like my first introduction into art.
Awesome.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah. So from there, you just kind of were like, I'm going into art. It's happening.
Yeah, totally. It was like Hernán said, it was like, whoa, I want this.
And Jonathan, I know we talked about a little bit about how you got into writing comics, but I don't know if we talked about what like your first comics were that you read and what,
Yeah,
got you
it's
down
funny.
that path.
Yeah, because I remember we talked about that I was into filmmaking and that's how it led to making comics, but actually reading comics. I've been reading comics, again, similar age, about 8 or 9 years old. The first comics I think that I was reading was, or what I really liked was The Punisher, back issues of X-Men, stuff like that. Definitely the stuff like Chris Claremont was writing in that, and then there was also the interest also for horror was early on there as well, because I remember there was I think it was Now Comics. I don't know if you remember Now Comics, but they had these horror adaptations of like ones like Nightbreed and Fright Night and stuff like that. And I remember as a kid thinking, I'm allowed to get these horror comics, and there's no one to say I can't have them. So you could just go and purchase this horror comic, and I'm 8 years old, and they're not going to say you're too young. So I think that's where that horror interest sort of stood there early on, and then obviously trying to watch horror movies and stuff like that as well. But yeah, mainly indie titles. Like now, who's the other one? Eclipse Comics, stuff, Punisher, X-Men, stuff like that. That was the stuff I grew up on. I enjoyed New Mutants. I loved the early New Mutant stuff as well. Yeah,
good mix in there, and of course the horror that kind of brought you to writing horror comics a lot now.
Oh yeah.
And
I think I'd be happy that I'm doing them now, because as a kid I was like, oh, I love that stuff when I was young too. So,
yeah. And Cover the Dead with Lime is a great start to the horror story, the first issue that I've seen. So I guess for those that don't know what Cover the Dead with Lime is, could you give a 30-second pitch of what it's about?
Okay, Cover the Dead with Lime is about the plague of 1665, 1666 that happened in England, the Great Bubonic Plague that killed thousands of people. And I had this story idea. I wrote a script for this in 2009, a movie script, and then I turned it into a comic book series here. And I thought what would be a great idea that hasn't been done yet would be like the original Nightmare. Like there's all these zombie stories, and yet no one has gone back that far to the original Nightmare, which was the bubonic plague, the virus that for thousands of years hundreds of years, people always go back to, like to do with zombie movies and things like that. Like the similar imagery and that you see in zombies is very like plague-like looking victims, and I thought, how has that not been done before? I'm thinking that would be a great idea to do this alternate reality where what would happen if people didn't die but they'd actually come back, but set it in a time where they have so few weapons, facilities and things like that around them to work with.
Yeah, not as easy to take down a zombie back in the 1600s.
Exactly. I don't think it's been done. I think this would fit well with something like a Hammer horror kind of story, because I grew up on Hammer horror movies and that. And although they didn't go back that far, they were normally Victorian horror and stuff like that. But I was thinking, like there needs to be more on the plague doctor. Doesn't seem to be a great story about just a plague doctor, and what if there was a zombie outbreak, and it'd be different sort of take from that. So that was the idea of it.
And I mean that just the image of the horror doctor, like I mean that strikes fear in and of itself, but
Yeah.
And this story, he's not the one necessarily to be afraid. You know, maybe not. Depends on how you look at him in this, right?
Right.
Without, I guess, spoiling anything, because just I think that question comes up is kind of a ends justify the means approach that it seems like he's taking here. Make him a monster as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think this is the this is where you get into the more of the depth of the character in the story. Is that we need to see what he was like before, when everything was okay, everything seemed like everything was normal and pleasant, or at least, you know, he's a family man and a father and everything. And then we flash forward to a year later, and we still don't know who he is. I'm not going to ruin anything. but
the juxtaposition.
We find out what has made him this person, and why is he doing this, or does he have to do this, and what's his means for doing this. And there's so many questions. There's probably more questions than there are answers in this as well. Like, how is this happening? How are people coming back alive? Is it because of the sins of men? There were so many things back then, hundreds of years ago, about why are people dying of the plague? You know, it's God's wrath. You know, there's so many questions on that. So I'm throwing that in there as well. But you know, what's worse than death? It's coming back, coming back to life. It's probably worse than death. And in this case, he has to deal with that. And you know, that's the sad thing about it. But as you can see in the imagery that the guys have created here, and to my very limited ability, I try to sketch in the storyboards, make it a million times better, make it darker, make it more atmospheric, you know, a little bit of light, but not too much light, not too much color, you know, and trying to create this world where it really was that depressing. There was that low, there was no, you know, there was gaslight, there wasn't electricity, not much food. People were already sick and dying from a young age, even before the plague had come on. You know, most people were only living to 40 years old, things like that. Right. So, and in England, growing up in England, I mean, it can be very depressing. There's not much sun, so most of the year round, it's grey skies, rain. So you go back 100 years ago with the plague, it's just depressing. So that's the depressing horror story.
No electric
it's a lot
lights, of fun. Already a dark place, and then you got plague.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
So I mean, speaking of the art and like what you're saying there with having them depict this world, are there any inspirations that the both of you draw from for your art, and that you've used in this story? Any artist inspirations, or even like just images that you're out there looking for to draw inspiration from?
Lo que pregunta Ernie es si hay alguna inspiración en especial con respecto a lo que hiciste en cover, y si la inspiración viene, o sea, puede ser de artistas o de algún estilo de imagen o cosas en particular que te hayas basado y que se note, digamos.
He's muted. Hernán, you're muted.
No se escucha, Ernie. Está apagado el micrófono en la configuración, creo. Fíjate en la pantalla.
Oh, I can't. This is their mic.
Ahí está.
Hola. Ahí.
Ahora sí.
Oh, no, it's working now. You're working.
Perfecto.
You're working.
¿Se escucha bien?
Sí, se escucha.
Bueno, que estéticamente siempre me gustó el blanco y negro, y bueno, además de toda la información que me fue mandando Jonathan con respecto a la estética que tenía que tener el cómic, yo ya tengo como una formación en blanco y negro, así que, bueno, que es lo que más me gusta hacer, ¿no? Muchas masas de color negro.
He's well, John sent him some imagery and things, pictures, but Hernán has his style, the contrast of black and white, and he added the style of the pictures that John sent him to his style, and Hernán is a fan of horror then too, and it's like a mix of things based on all that.
I love Damián Felitte.
Oh,
he loves Damián Felitte's.
Damián Felitte is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the best.
I think this gives a good example of some of your
yeah.
From the Kickstarter that you were on, the art, I think the shading and all of that really shines through, and to bring the horror elements in.
Que las texturas que le hiciste y todo, que realmente dan la sensación de horror.
Muchas gracias. Yo creo que en el cómic hacer terror, horror, es lo más difícil que hay, porque no hay sonido, no hay música que te oriente.
He thinks like that horror in comics is hard, because there's no sound or things or music, and it's like you have to make that rough and texture, and
you have to build it.
Build it up with just imagery.
Yeah.
For you, Damián, same thing. Is there anyone, either artist or colorist, that you're full inspiration from?
At first, Hernán told me that he wanted like a watercolor or washes to try, and I tried that, and then it was like more texture things, and it was like the first we did, it was like, this is the style of Cover the Dead, but it was not like based on nothing more than that. Obviously the creepy feeling that John made the script and all of that John said a while ago, but it was like Hernán idea, that trying like some wash thing, that and then it was like a little bit darker, but it started that.
Nice. Yeah, I think the colors really go back to what Jonathan was saying, with England is a dark and dreary place, especially with a plague going on. And I think the first couple pages contrast that with the fishing scene. A little bit brighter colors are in that. So I think nailed it there with what was going on.
All that first pages, it was John, totally John. He sent me some pics, and it was like, I like that kind of lighting.
But I'm feeling like Jonathan was having like the film director mind. The shot going this way, and
oh yeah. You can't take the filmmaker out of you. No, it was important to show. I mean, the whole first issue and the rest of the book is going to be dark. So to show that contrast of not only light at times, but happy at times, and that, just to show that early on. And we even went as far as, I don't know if you noticed, but with the borders, the bleed line, the borders, we started white and faded to grey and then darker and then black, so that you could see the transition between the first 7 pages. So by the time you reach that flash forward to 1666, it's like, okay, now it's 100% blackboard. So it started off like, everything's okay. Then I wonder if people will notice this fade, this transition to darker.
Wow.
So that was intentional. Yeah.
I was so focused on like everything happening within the panels, and I think also I was reading it like on my phone with what you
right.
So I was like zooming in. I'm like right there in the art, like
yeah.
But I feel like that's gonna come across really well flipping through the pages of the book.
Oh, you'll see, yeah. And people will look at it and they'll think, oh yeah, this is it's just, I think that feeling of it was important to show that feeling of dread, that he knew that something bad was about to happen, that ominous ship coming in. And then I don't know if you noticed, but one of the fish in the bucket that they were fishing was eating one of the other fish. And I thought, we'll put a little hint in there as if to say that this isn't just a zombie infection outbreak that also is relatable to humans, it's also relatable to animals as well.
Yeah.
And that early on, I don't know if people will notice that, but now I've said it, they might.
But at first, the first time I went through, I was like, there's something going on here. I'm not quite sure. And then once I kind of went through and I read everything else, I came back to it. I was like, yep, because of the scene later without spoiling something.
With the animal. Yeah.
Another animal scene.
Right.
Kind of come back to it and you're like, yep, this is not human, which is usually like most of the zombie stories focus on what's happening with humans and don't really talk about the animals, or the animals are all fine.
Yeah.
But
the funny thing is, it makes sense because the bubonic plague was spread originally by rats to dogs and cats. So, if you're going to have this alternate reality where it's not just a epidemic, but it turns into a zombie outbreak, then if originally the disease was brought by animals, then also they should be infected as well. I mean, it makes sense. I guess that was the idea.
So, it's safe to say here that everyone's favorite genre is horror, whether it be reading it, drawing it, writing it.
Yeah. It's for me. Yeah.
For each one of us.
Yeah.
El estilo, Ernie, el género que más te gusta, si es el horror o es el...
Sí, horror y police noir.
Hernán likes horror and crime noir, Damián Felitte and that kind of...
Yeah, I mean the crime noir, that kind of fits into that black and white style that he was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Sí.
That works really well with the shadows. That works really well with shadows, because I always want looming shadows and stuff like that, and creepy, atmosphere. So that works perfect.
What about you, Damián?
No, I like to experiment with styles and like genres. I like all kind of my own comics are like more drama, emotional things.
Yeah.
but I like a little bit of.
Yeah, I feel like for me, with like comics have been my like horror gateway. Like,
right.
I used to stay away from horror with like everything.
I remember you saying that. Because we've been talking for a little bit, and I remember you kind of gone into this. You're in the horror now. The horror realm is open. You know.
And I haven't watched too much yet, like movies or anything. But have any of you seen Nope? That came out recently.
Nope, not yet. Not yet, but I do like Jordan Peele.
Super, like I felt more thriller-ish, a little bit of horror, but the director's past, like he's been doing a lot of horror stuff.
He's a great director. I just haven't seen it yet. Yeah, they talked about Jordan Peele's Nope film, Damián. I don't know if you guys know that one. Have you? He's asking if you've seen it yet.
I didn't watch it yet.
No,
but I like so far the two movies. I saw Get Out and Us.
Okay.
From Jordan Peele.
Oh yeah. That's good.
Watching Nope, I want to go back and watch his other ones now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so I just all of those things. I'm like, now I want to go watch these things I'll go watch movies and shows. Finally started watching Stranger Things.
Oh man, so good.
I don't know why I was not watching it this whole time.
What season are you on with that?
Season 2, like 2 or 3 episodes in.
Oh, it gets better and better and better. I mean, the first season's great. The second's not bad. The third's more entertaining and kind of funny too. And then the fourth, man, it's still good. I can't believe how good it still is. But if you haven't seen a movie, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but one of my favorite movies, and if I got the opportunity to do a mini series of, and hopefully me saying this won't make someone go make it before we do. It Follows. You know the movie It Follows? Have you seen that? 2015, I think it is, or 2000. No, further back than that. It's a really good film. Really good. If you get a chance to see that, I don't know if you've seen that, anyone, but I would do a mini series of that because that should have had a sequel. But having said that, it might have ruined it. That sequel. But that's a great premise. Great premise.
I'm doing a quick look up. I'm like, I know this name.
Right. But no one mention it because we want to go make it now. So I want to do a comic book series. If they do, you heard it here first. So if anyone rips it off, you'll know that we came up with it.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Right.
Now copyrighted claim here. Oh.
Right. But yeah. I want to say thank you for everyone that's come to see us as well, because people keep popping up. So we want to say hi to everyone that's been joining us on this call.
Yeah.
Someone said something about getting some vitamin D or vitamin D. No, that was the best. That was it. Yeah. Space said it in Seattle. Well, from England and also other countries, I'm sure in Europe, it's very dark and dreary and grey, just like Seattle. So yeah, we need vitamin D. Everyone does vitamin D. Yeah, we want to say hi to everyone.
Hold on, I'm gonna unmute the mic real quick because something's coming through. Might be Damián.
Bueno, yo me estoy por ir a vivir al campo, así que la vitamina D viene sola.
There we go. Yeah.
¿Se escuchó? Hola. ¿Se escucha? Hola.
Oh, you're good. I think it's Damián might be yours.
Damián, there's some background noise, I think.
What?
You have a bit of an audio mic thing.
Some delay or something?
It's like, do you have it on speaker, or is it like, maybe that's it? I don't know.
Or something. Because it's on your phone, right? Let's try that.
Oh, that might help.
Really loud. Just wanted to make sure.
I just got used to it.
There we go.
Now? Sorry.
Me estaba volviendo loco ese ruido.
I was just starting to do like, I think I did like you, Jonathan. At first, I was just like, I was hearing it, but I was just like, we were talking and
these songs make me crazy.
I didn't have headphones, so
oh, you had, okay, right.
Oh man.
Oh, good.
No, yeah.
Crystal clear.
Yeah.
But for Cover the Dead with Lime, there's 7 covers, right? 7 coming out next week.
Right.
Damián, you've got a cover on there.
Yeah.
They both
got
Hernán, 2 or 3?
Hernán, 3 colors.
3. Awesome. And then you've got a couple other people that you brought in to, I mean, all the covers are just awesome. They feel like they fit within the story, you know, the era and all that.
I think that I just wanted to, I must admit, like being a collector, like the guys have been for so long, when we were kids growing up, you'd see all these different covers, but now more than ever, the last few years, I'm like, wow, there's so many variants. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm gonna, if I ever do a series, we'll do a few variants, and we just thought, what would be a great idea to start with a big splash would be to just do like a good bunch of really great covers, and some people, I would say, an idea, oh, do it around, maybe it could be coming through a graveyard or something like that, or another time we would I'd do a basic sketch or whatever. And Hernán and Damián were already going to be doing covers on each of the issues, but I also wanted to bring in some people that I've worked with in the past, also give them some credit as well, because there's so many talented people out there that are either industry artists or they're, you know, up and coming artists. You've got Roman Stevens there. We've worked with him before on a Never by Night horror anthology short. You've got Kanan White there. That actually, cover C is not how it will look. It was never made in time for the previews. The actual cover for that is beautiful, but that's actually a sketch. And then the you see the E is by Darren Frydendall. I've worked with him a few times. He did the cover for The Boy Conquered the Mountain, and he also used to do storyboards when I was doing when I was getting a feature film together. He did storyboards for that, so I've known him for quite a few years. And then you got cover C down there. You got Elves as well. So many great artists along with the team. Obviously, I think Damián and Hernán would be happy to do covers as well, but also we have to make the book, so we can't do it all. We can't do it all. But if they ever have time to make a cover, they always seem to have time.
I mean,
and then
on this.
And let's not forget issue 2 and issue 3 by Damián. They're connecting covers. That one there with the the B, right. That's a connecting cover with issue 3. So if you were to buy both of those covers, they'll connect together. Yeah, and there's the connection. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. And then awesome.
And then you got Emmy Utrera, who did the art for A Boy Conquered the Mountain, all the interiors and all that. He did a nice, beautiful cover there as well. And obviously got these beautiful close-up images of that zombie. You can see all the detail that Damián's done there of that. And then issue 3, I don't want to give away too much with Hernán's cover A there. Don't click on that one because it shows you too much information. But that's coming up, and that's cool. So but yeah, we just, when we're making comics, I think we're all in agreement that you want to see a cover that jumps out at you. That if you're in a store, they'd be like, "Oh, what's that?" And I'll pick it up. And then you always hope. My thing, I mentioned this before, I think on another interview with you, whenever I'd see this beautiful cover, I'd open it up And half the time when I'd open up the pages, it'd either be black and white, nothing wrong with black and white. It's beautiful, it's beautiful, it's black and white, it doesn't matter. But sometimes it'd be black and white, or the art wasn't very good. And meanwhile, you got this beautiful cover, and it's such a letdown. So the key was to not just create great covers so people will want to take it off the shelf and buy it, but also the art on the inside is just as great as the art on the cover.
Yeah, and I think it does look like the the style from the interior to the exterior, even the other artists that you brought in working on those covers is not like we're looking at like Alex Ross doing a cover, and then it's like whole different style on the interior, and it's like
right, exactly.
I feel like it's happening. Like I'm looking at some of the Marvel books, and it's like Alex Ross does this beautiful cover, and it's not like the interior artist is bad, but it's not Alex Ross.
Misleading a bit. Yeah,
it's like
well, we've actually we got a few copies that got sent because I've got to send them to the team at one point. But I can actually show you a couple of physical copies if you want on the camera. If people would like to look at it, whoever's watching right now, I'll go grab it. I'll be right back.
Yeah, we can put you up on the. Make him the. When he comes back, let's see. Make him the star here. He shows off the covers.
Now a lot of these are out of stock now. Issue 1 is getting harder to pick up, so I think most people will have to try and find them online. Also because the pre-order has ran out, but they can obviously still get issue 2 and issue 3. And these are first prints as well. So once the first prints are gone, that's it. So obviously these will, if anything, maybe one day they might go up in price and that. But here we go. So here is cover A, Hernán's cover. Try and get that.
Get the yeah.
Maybe you can see, and you'll be able to see that transition on there as well. Sorry about the angle here. Maybe we can, but you can see the color change on the borders there as well.
Yeah. I think that shows up better than when I was zoomed in on my phone.
Right. And then there's the black and white.
Oh, the black and white.
Angles there, yeah. Which I think in itself would be great just as a black and white comic as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the Kanan one.
Special sketch edition.
Right.
You put out after the series is finished. It was,
right.
I think Barbaric had that happen where they put it back out with just the black and white art or something.
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, if we reprint at one point, we'll probably do something like that. We'll do an alternate version, or we've already got the black and white Hernán one, but we'd definitely do that. This is Damian's one. Sorry about the shine.
All right.
There we go.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like Doctor front and center.
And then there's Darren's one. Darren's Ferdinand. I hope he's watching right now, but these will be out August 10th. And
just checking because usually a week before Midtown puts up their stuff. So if you wanted to order online, I just dropped the link in the chat for people that might be watching.
Oh, nice. The colors come out really nice on this one. That's Roman Stevens one.
That red does look nice, yeah.
Doesn't it? Yeah, really nice. And also for anyone, if there's any people in California, I'll be signing some copies on the day on Wednesday at Nuclear Comics in Laguna. It's at Nuclear Comics on Instagram, and I'll be signing there any of these 7 variants. Now I love this one. This was Hernán's one. With that
one is beautiful.
It looks
what
like
a smell!
From,
I love the smell of new comic.
I love how
it smells like an old like an old postcard because it's old.
It
probably smells like old paper.
Totally.
Like a
chapbook.
Looks like it should be printed on like parchment, like old paper.
And,
yeah, that's right.
Maybe like the trade paperback could be, if there was ever a trade paperback with all old like that or something, that would be pretty cool.
Old bound looking, like twine and
yeah.
It was beautiful.
Gotta make a custom bound one then.
Right. And then on the back here, Blood Moon, we have to give a shout out to Blood Moon. They do a good job because they're advertising on the back, the synopsis there about getting the other covers. And then on the inside at the end, without ruining the story, I'll show you the, next issue to try and get the other covers. Talking about cover 2 there. So
number 2 previews.
2 and 3 are still available to get. And there we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny. I just went to Blood Moon Comics website because I was gonna see if they'd put. I know last time I looked, it wasn't available yet because if people wanted to buy the covers, their shop may have not gotten all of them or something.
Oh,
I know they will have them up on the website, but I pull it up and I see the last post on there. It says it's a really, really good review of Cover the Dead with Lime, and it's linking to me. I was
what's that? What review?
Surprise! I didn't know he posted that.
Who's that?
Keith. Oh
yeah. That's right. Yeah. They've been all. You guys did a good review on it, which we were happy about. We got 2 other reviews that were great as well. So all positive so far, which is good. So we're doing something right.
Yeah. I was like, here's their homepage, and I was like, oh wait, that's
there you go.
Do You Promise Me Comics?
No. There you go.
Okay. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is
it's Endangered.
John, the writer of Endangered.
Hi, John.
I think that's him. It literally says it right there. It's Endangered John. I read the first part. I read the "What's Up, fellas," and just completely.
Yeah, me too. That's what I just saw.
I was remembering when I saw the collectors had commented on something before and made the connection there. But he's local to me here in New Orleans.
It is indeed.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You're good.
And I think my shop said he might be coming to the shop coming up. So.
Oh, nice.
Cool. Yeah. And they just
get me a copy of it.
Yeah, they just had issue 1 and 2, I think, go to second print with Blood Moon. So you guys could be having that happen too here coming up.
We'll see. That's what we were trying to get people to pick up. Yeah. We were trying to get them to pick up 1 so they won't have to go to second print, but
so they don't have to go. Yeah, get it later. And get the reprint. But it happens. I think that's the thing with some of the smaller publishers like Blood Moon is sometimes shops just flip past them when they're looking through the book, which is really not good because those are good books in there. That's where I'm like I'm flipping through those pages looking for those publishers. Blood Moon recently, I think Endangered really what brought them to my attention, and I knew you were publishing with them too. But there's just so many little publishers in there that should get more attention.
Yeah. Well, I saw, like I say, Ron Joseph on Blood Moon, and I was like, "Oh, who are these guys?" This and that's what we try them, and there we are. So yeah, worked out.
Absolutely. Let's see. I think I had one other question for our artists here. Also, oh yeah, I guess this is for everyone actually. So I know we've got Cover the Dead with Lime coming up, but writers, artists are always working on a million different projects. So what you guys got going on that you want to talk about?
John, you first.
You want me to give it? Oh, okay. Well, you know what? this really is my main dedication at the moment because we kind of hit the ground running with it. The moment we came into this, we're literally moving every month to make sure an issue comes out in time. There's going to be a short break around December, but otherwise there'll be an issue out every month from August, September, October, November, and then there's a break there in December. Then we'll be back in January, and it's 8 issues. So this is really my main comic at the moment, definitely, because a lot's involved with it. It's not just adapting the script from the film script into comic form, but also because I'm a control freak, I want to make sure that I storyboard everything as well, and then give it to Hernán and Damián, and then we all work together and everything. But I would like to do another Elsewhere short, though. I think there's a little bit of time left to still do that. I might do an Elsewhere short. I was also working with Anna recently, but it's been a couple months. I hope I can work back with her again soon. We can wrap that story up. That'd be great. But yeah, main things at the moment.
Yeah. Hopefully everything
Ernie,
back soon.
Sí, ¿en qué otros proyectos estás trabajando ahora?
Bueno, está el que está atrás tuyo, Jeremy. Beneath Us 2.
Beneath Us 2. ¿Y qué más?
Y el de Tessellation. Está por acá.
Tessellation 2 and Beneath Us 2. He's working in those 2 projects right now.
Okay. Which is Tessellation? I feel like I recognize that.
Tessellation, ¿le mostraste Tessellation, Ernie, otra vez?
Sí.
By Mike Phillips.
Mike Phillips. El Martian Leeds.
En Hernán.
Where is that coming out from?
¿Cuándo salió?
Martian Leeds en un Kickstarter, ¿no salió? Eso,
sí, salió hace un año más o menos.
1 year ago.
En August de 21.
Okay.
In a Kickstarter.
Second one coming up in the future here.
Yeah. And I'm not doing anything right now. Cover the Dead, and I finished a few projects. One with Tom Holland, that it was 2 Tons of Fury.
I heard Tom Holland, so I'm just thinking Spider-Man right now.
Or the director, Tom Holland.
John Holland.
It's him.
I'm like, all right.
I was thinking of the director Tom Holland, and you were thinking of the actor Tom Holland.
It's John Holland for Diabolic Comics. And then, well, a few projects that's. But no. Right now, only Cover the Dead.
Okay.
Es que nosotros en Argentina estamos más cerca de las vacaciones de verano que del principio de año.
We are reaching like holidays here, like hot days, sunny days. We're more reaching that point here.
Oh,
John Holland. Yeah.
Right. Oh, okay.
Un abrazo, que mañana lo operan de cataratas.
John Holland works with Hernán a lot, and he's going to surgery tomorrow, eye surgery.
Oh, right.
I
see. Hopefully all is well with that then. With it's cool. There's so many. There's more creators I keep finding out are in New Orleans that I don't know about. But Daniel Jose Older, he wrote the Star Wars High Republic Adventures for IDW. He's here in New Orleans. He pops into the comic shop that I go to on occasion.
That's great.
There's someone that wrote something DC recently. It was like it's like one of the graphic novels that they do for the younger
Right.
ages. It was like just the comic shop's like, oh yeah, this person pops in and gets their comics here. It's like, what?
That's great. That's great.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, you know, the funny thing is, I don't know where Ron Joseph used to live, but he was in my local comic store, and I went in with my kid, with Christopher, my son, about 4 years ago, and he was signing with Marv Wolfman, and I went in there and I got Marv Wolfman to sign my old Cyborg Teen Titans comic and everything, and Ron Joseph was there. And that's how I met Ron Joseph. I said, if you ever been interested in doing an indie comic, I'd love to work with you someday. And that's where that all started. And then he moved. He's in a completely different state now. I don't know where he is now. But if he wasn't there at that time, I would have never met him and we would have never worked together. So it's just one of those things. I thought that was cool.
Right place, right time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll definitely.
Worked out there.
Mm-hmm.
So you got your signing next week. Are you going to any cons the rest of the year? Plans to be out there?
WonderCon was good to do. That was with the boy who conquered the mountain. But SD would have been the other one if I'd have gone to that, but they're too busy to do that one. But I think it was off of working with WonderCon. Prior to that, I'd done an interview with Heavy Metal, and I'd sent that to Blood Moon. I think that's what got us the interest with the series. It's like, you know, please pick up our series because we did a sneak peek pitch, 7-page sample about, I think it was late 2020, and I thought, you know what, this would make a good little series. And, it's based on a film script I wrote back in 2009, etc. And then I'm trying different places, but then working on other things all at the same time. And Hernán and Damián, meanwhile, always supportive of my work and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, it's like something at the back of my head was saying, I've got to push Cover the Dead with Lime because they're really, these guys are so good at what they do. They're so dedicated. Great guys. They're really, not only are they great to work with, but they're really nice as well. We all work well together. And then Drew, sadly, couldn't be here today, who's the letterer. All really nice people. And that's what you want. No egos at all. Everyone just wants to make a great book together. And it was the back of my mind, it's like, I should really try and get this book made, even though it's, this isn't a one shot, this is a series, but it's like, we should do this book together. And then we tried it and then it got picked up and we were happy about that. And, so yeah, looking forward to next week when it comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. John down there saying, put pressure on Keith to get Blood Moon in a booth at Baltimore Comic Con.
Right. Yeah, we definitely need to get more conventions. Yeah. Blood Moon is really great. I think because they're getting started out with everything, and we're all pushing our books and everything. So it's just getting the presence out there more. I think people like yourself, Jeremy, really help indie creators and publishers really get known a bit more. Like they pay attention to your show, so I think that helps. So we appreciate that.
Get the word out there on books that I think are worth checking out, and I can't even get to all the ones that I think are worth checking out. I had more time in the day to do it, but Blood Moon getting their name out there more. I saw they were at Tampa Bay Comic Con. I think this last weekend was where they were.
Right. That's right.
I feel like there was like 3 or 4 cons going on last weekend. That just looking at Instagram, people were all over the place. Pretty cool.
Too many.
It's cool got back, but I've been really paying attention to all of that stuff. There hasn't been this many because COVID, cut all those away, and then they slowly were coming back, and now it's just like every weekend there's something going on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
seems like it. Yeah.
And I know Argentina started having cons back. I think Damian Connolly had said he'd been to something or was planning to go to something. But I don't know if you guys have too many going on.
Yes, here there are a few conventions. The biggest is Crack Bam Boom in Rosario. ¿Y hay otra más, Ernie? ¿Alguna otra convención?
Y está el Docta Comic. Ahora es la época ahora. August, September and October.
Octa Comics is another one.
Okay.
But
are you guys
a few only.
As creators or as just going or
no. Vos, Ernie, vas a alguna de las convenciones, vos sí, ¿no? Igual vas a
sí, no, lo que pasa es que yo estoy recién operado. Yo me operé hace poquito.
Claro. He had his surgery, so he isn't going anywhere.
I can walk.
But he's working.
Yeah.
Bueno, la Crack Bam Boom, uno de los organizadores es Eduardo Rizzo. Lo conocen.
Eduardo Rizzo, illustrator of Batman and 100 Ballets with Azzarello. He's the creator of Crack Bam Boom convention in Rosario.
Nice.
Yeah.
I do have to ask about this Spider-Man drawing in the background.
Ernie, vos tenés un dibujo de Spider-Man ahí atrás que le hizo el nene.
Mi sobrino. Esto hizo mi hijo. No, a ver. Esto.
His son did the one.
This. Esto mi sobrino.
His nephew did the Spider-Man on the wall.
Y por allá hay más de mi hija. Tengo toda la casa.
His children draw. It's like in the genes.
I have 2 child. Milena 10-year-olds and Marco 3-year-olds.
3 years. Marco 3-year-olds, but he's drawing. He's drawing and painting.
He's fun.
That's just like you guys were saying. You were around. Damian, you said what, 4 maybe? Hernán, you were around that age too.
Ernie, vos a qué edad empezaste a dibujar, así que te acuerdas que así que estaba chiquito.
6, 7 años, sí, menos.
Sí, menos. 5, 6 years. The same.
No recuerdo nunca haber dejado de dibujar. Yo creo que dibujé every day for 40 years.
He never stopped drawing.
Tengo 41 ahora, tengo 41 años.
Así que 41 years.
They're trying to follow in your footsteps, it looks like.
Yeah, it's in the genes, in the family.
Yeah.
Que van a seguir tus pasos.
Maybe.
Maybe. Si todo sale bien.
So I dropped down in the description the links to you guys to follow you guys on Instagram and Twitter. Follow along with what's happening with the story. It's releasing, so they'll be able to make sure they don't miss any of the issues. Tell their shops to get it on the pull list. But if their shop missed it, Blood Moon Comics website will have it at some point, it looks like, and then you can get it right now on some of the retailers.
I think if you hunt enough, you can still get issue 1. It's out there. You might be looking on random websites and eBay and stuff like that, but a lot of places are sold out of issue 1.
Yeah, it's sold out in a few comic book stores online.
Yeah,
it's sold out.
Hit up the really big retailers that probably did the highest pre-ordering. Midtown, maybe Golden Apple, like those ones.
is it Things from Another World, Forbidden Planet, where else? But if you enjoyed issue 1, you're going to love issue 2. Issue 2 is really good as well, and we're almost at the end of finishing that. And so yeah, lots of surprises in that one as well.
Yeah, totally.
Well,
more action.
best of luck with the release next week.
Thank you.
And the signing and everything. Yeah, congratulations on the release.
Thank you.
Super exciting. And thanks for letting me get a look at it beforehand and to talk with you guys. This is a lot of fun.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much, Jeremy. Thanks for having us on. Thanks for supporting us.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Jeremy. Thanks a lot.
Cover That with Lime out next week, issue number 1. So go pick it up. Any last thoughts or anything else you want to say to people watching?
If you enjoy the book, or if you like the look of the book, please share as much as possible. There's things that we might not be on, like things like I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook sometimes, but I'm not on TikTok. So if anyone's on TikTok, then share it on TikTok, or share it with anyone that's into horror. So
I will say I think the reel, I don't remember what Instagram's reel. Whatever.
Yeah.
The reel on Instagram that I had posted was from TikTok. I made it on TikTok.
That's right.
It's out there on TikTok.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on, everyone. And
thank you.
Thanks for everyone watching. Six Face, John. I think Lewis is probably still lurking. He's usually in the chat and then disappears.
Thanks, Lewis.
And have a nice night. I got a little outro here.
You too, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Bye.